Hey folks, it's Jim, it's Leila, it's October, which means it's alternative October, and this is episode 215 of Geeking Out. So, this month we're not doing any Marvel, no DC, and no licensed product. So, let's get to it with the very first issue of Damsels, #1. And in this one, a collection of hazy memories and bewildering tattoos are all the young woman Rappa has to help her figure out who she really is, and just why she's now being hunted by the Queen.
It's kind of like Memento, but with...
Yes, with fairy tale women.
Okay.
Alright, so if you couldn't guess, Rappa is Rapunzel.
Okay.
And the tattoos are basically memories of her past that she keeps getting tattooed on her arm because she keeps forgetting.
Okay.
She meets a mermaid.
Is it named Ariel or
No?
Okay.
No. And they go up and jump off a cliff. And that's how the book ends.
Okay.
But okay, so this one is a little bit odd, but it's actually a lot of fun. There's some really beautiful artwork here that I could compare to Grimm Fairy Tales a bit. But there's an actual good story here as well with the strange mystery that is now surrounding Rappa.
Interesting.
So I quite enjoyed it. You should probably check this one out. I had a lot of fun with it.
Okay, next up, I've got an offering from Moonstone. This is The Saint, #0, and...
Doesn't star Val Kilmer, does it?
No, it does not.
Okay, we're safe.
But what this one is the story Sizzlin' Saboteur, which was first published by Leslie Charteris in 1943. So basically they're taking like the original stories and adapting them for comics, which sounds kind of cool.
Nice.
So in this one, Simon Templar, aka The Saint, stops to investigate a body at the side of the road. Severely burned and almost dead, the victim sends Simon on a mission with not much to go on. So this is like an intro book. It's really, they kept it short. It's like $1.99 US. So it's like an intro. The Saint's a great character. Like I've always thought that that's great. It's a great concept.
The radio plays were fantastic back in the day. And
yeah, they're great stories. So I mean, if you like that, if you like The Saint, then you're probably gonna like this. I can't say it's anything new, but they're fairly good adaptations. There's good art, and the adaptation is well done. So you know, if you're a fan of The Saint, this might be for you. I did like the movie though with Val Kilmer though.
It was okay.
It was okay, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it had a good soundtrack.
Oh,
come on, Sneaker Pimps. Yeah. That was good. Anyways.
You and your music. Next up, we have Lookouts #1. And in this one, it's about a group of young boys who join the Lookouts in the magical and mysterious Ironwood Forest. Their first task is to earn a badge to solve the riddle of the Sphinx.
I was really interested in this book when I saw it in previews.
Yeah. But first, they have to solve the troll under the bridges riddle.
Nice.
So, okay. If you're not familiar with the history of this book, this is from the creators of the webcomic Penny Arcade.
Yes.
Now, they hired a different artist and whatnot to do the actual comic, but they are basically the creators of this world. And this is actually a fantastic magical world. Great art, great story.
Is the art like the cover?
Yeah.
Or like, okay,
yeah,
good.
It is. And
Good
it
job.
really works here. The cartoonish style really works fantastically well, and you're really drawn into this world because, well, quite frankly, the characters are just written fantastically.
That's
and it's a beautiful book to look at, and it's a lot of fun to read, and you do want to see what happens to these kids who might be eaten by the troll or killed by the Sphinx, or you don't know. It could horrible things could happen. But this book is a lot of fun, and I really, really liked it. So if you want to try something that's really fun, check this one out. I quite enjoyed it.
Okay, next up, speaking of Grimm Fairy Tales, this is Grimm Fairy Tales presents Robyn Hood, #1 of 5. This is from Zenescope.
Oh, look, they spelled it with a Y.
Yes, because it's a girl.
Of course, because it's Zenescope.
Right. So, a little background for you about the whole universe that we're dealing in here. Fairy tales and fables are not just fictional characters. Beings from 4 different realms, Mist, Neverland, Wonderland, and Oz, are actually linked to Earth and do exist. Some are called highborns and some are false bloods. All have some form of supernatural ability that sets them apart from mortals, and not all of them have realized their destinies. Which leads us to Robyn Hood. Robyn comes from a family of limited means. She steals to pay for her sick mother's medication and often takes great risks to do so. After the death of her mother, she bounces from foster home to foster home. Meanwhile, in Mist, the men and women of Bree are being worked to the death, literally, by an evil king, and a man goes to beg for help to save his family. So now, later on in high school, Robyn stands up to the wrong person with dire consequences, but suddenly her life takes a drastic turn, and how will she fare in Mist? That's right, she's transported from Earth to Mist. So I enjoyed this. The art isn't quite like it is on the cover. There's a lot of different cover artists, and that's always a big thing for Zenescope.
Yeah.
But it's still really beautiful. I really liked it. There's a couple pages that seem like they might be drawn by a different artist. Either that or the current or the artist on the rest of the book tried to make like a real difference between Mist and Earth, and I didn't really like it. I don't know. But the story was surprisingly well done, and I know how we're always giving Zenescope a hard time for that.
Yeah.
But I really liked the back and forth between Mist and Earth, and like it was long periods that became shorter and shorter, so it sort of built up to the end, the whole big reveal at the end.
Good build-up is always generally a good thing.
Exactly. So for a first issue, I found this quite enjoyable, and I was prepared to hate it, because, sometimes it's just, they're great to look at, but the story was not going to keep you coming back.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed this one. So if you have any interest in seeing sort of the classic Robyn Hood thing done a different way, this book is for you.
All right, next up we have Cricket from the World of Critter from Big Dog Inc. And in this one, which is called Cricket, Agent of U.N.I.C.O.R.N.
Nice.
Who knows what unicorn stands for?
Oh, they don't tell you. Oh,
no, they
okay.
don't tell me. Anyway, in this one, Cricket must put her life of crime behind her as she takes on a Russian terrorist cell while still tracking basically trying to tackle her own inner demons and desires to see the heroes of the world punished for what they did to her father.
Interesting.
Yeah, so she's a hero, but also wants to be a supervillain and kill all the heroes of the world because they killed her father.
Interesting.
So, very conflicted character here, but very, very fun story. Basically, she's just starting out, and she's making a lot of mistakes and getting her ass kicked and da-da-da-da-da.
Like every new superhero.
Oh, yeah. But what really sets it apart is that there's a sense of fun about it. In that she's like, nah, I don't care. It's just kind of part of the job.
Gotcha.
And she's making, of course, the Spidey-type quips and everything like that. So I enjoyed it. You've seen this character before if you've read the other series, Critter from Big Dog Inc. And this is the start of a 4-part series called The Paradigm, which will go into 3 other one-shots a little later this year.
Oh, really? Okay.
So this is a good start to that. You get to learn a lot more about this character, and it's actually quite interesting. So if you want a good, fun superhero romp, check this one out. I quite enjoyed it.
Okay, so next up for me, this is from Image, called Non-Humans #1. Okay, so this one is a little weird, so just putting that out there. In Los Angeles in the year 2041, there's no internet,
Yay!
no virtual reality, no World Wide Web, and no TV.
What? You mean no porn?
There's
no more porn? What?
Well,
no!
If there is, they're not, it's not out there publicly.
No,
and this is all because there's a sort of a virus that's going on out there, and they found that the only thing that stopped the virus was controlling imagination, especially kids of a certain age group. So
they want to be like Romney.
Anyhow, so they put them on this drug called brain freeze, which keeps the non-human population in check. And you're like, okay, what are non-humans? They're basically inanimate objects that can be like toys or mannequins or anything like that. They actually come to life.
Yeah.
And they're called non-humans. And basically imagination spawns them or gives them breath. So the main character that we are dealing with is named Oliver Ames, and he's a cop, and he's sort of stuck in the middle of these two worlds, between humans and non-humans. He's tracking a serial killer, a non-human, who killed his partner, and meanwhile there's a plot underfoot to silence those who seek peace and understanding sort of between the two groups. So this was kind of an interesting book. I mean, it had a lot of stuff in it for a first issue. I thought the author, Brunswick, crafted a really deep, textured world, even though it was really bizarre.
Sounds bizarre to me.
Yes. You know, and maybe not anything 100% new, but it is kind of presented in a different way here. And really great art. It really had art that just was awesome. And I mean, obviously it's really dark at times. I mean, with, you know, starting off the way it does, but you know, there's lots to love about this book, which was surprising. But I think Image Art is coming out with a bunch of, you know, decent titles that are doing pretty well.
Lately, they've been doing a lot of really good new series that are actually really good.
Yeah, exactly. So
it's not just a standard superhero crap that they usually have been doing the last few years.
Well, and it's not an endless stream of just number ones, and we never see like number 2, 3, or 4. You know,
there's actually been series that have been actually able to continue,
which
is a good thing.
Yeah, like Harvest and Revival have been doing well. Saga,
Epic Kill has been fantastic.
Epic Kill.
Yeah.
So you know, this might be one that, you know, sticks around for a while. So if you have a chance, jump on now. If you want something that's really out there.
Alright, and to close out the show this week, we have Womanthology, Space, #1, which features 5 stories, including Waiting for Mr. Roboto, about the life of a bored space waitress, Dead Again, a ghost story in space, Scaling Heaven, about the race to put the first woman on the moon, The Adventures of Princess Plutonia, who must battle the forces of Princess Malika to rescue her human lover. Max and the Space Girls, a crew on a spaceship faced with the dangers of moon-sized laser cats.
Okay.
Yeah, you heard me. Moon-sized laser cats.
How did they make that work in proportion in the book? I mean, I don't know.
It's hilarious. That particular story is done in a stick figure almost style, so and it's actually really cute, but really works well here. There's also some really nice pinups by friends of mine, Mary Bellamy and Sarah Elkins. So I quite enjoyed this. My favorite story, though, has to be the Scaling Heaven, which is about the first woman on the moon. Beautiful art, great story, simply fantastic. I love the twist at the end of Waiting for Mr. Roboto, because the poor waitress is lusting over this guy, and it turns out he's kind of in love with robots. So it's
always something, right?
Oh yeah. So yeah, this is a lot of fun. If you liked the huge trade paperback last year, Womanthology, this is perfect for you.
Yeah, it's more of the same.
And it's really great to see women creators getting their due, finally. I love this book with all my heart, and this was just a fantastic first issue. I'm looking forward to seeing what they come up with next. Great job on this one. And that brings us to the close of another episode. We will be back with more alternative titles next week. See you later.